Hey, good morning, Michael here at Interstate PR, doing another whole new world, life and business during COVID-19. It's been a few days. Was trying to do some personal things and do some work with the kids, help them with homework, and get caught up with stuff for clients. Today, I've got a guest on who some of you probably recognize his music. James Michael Day is going to be joining us right now. There he is.
Hello. Oh, this
He,
way. There we go.
there we go. He is a musician, a piano player, amazing piano player. For those of you who know him, he plays a lot of venues throughout the Central Valley, and some of you may know him because you have gone to a San Jose Sharks game and heard the organ in the background. That's the man right here. So, thanks for joining us today, man. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. So you're actually out in Copperopolis.
Copperopolis. Where the heck is Copperopolis?
Hey, it's a beautiful little town out in the Motherlode. I've actually been there before. They have a nice little downtown area in Copperopolis, and some homes that look like they were starting to be built and then stopped.
When I moved here, I actually lived at those houses for 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of them are built now. A lot of them are completed. There's still some that aren't, but it's a great little spot. And I do play in the town square. At least I did play in the town square every Friday night until all this stuff happened.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, let's talk about all this stuff, right? Musician, I think that's what you do for a living, right? And places where you normally play are closed down. How's that affected you?
Oh, it's affected everything. Because, I mean, first of all, the Sharks, that was my main gig. And that led to a bunch of other gigs because it was a good place to network with thousands of people there. And with that gone, I mean, that's just decimated my main income. And it was also my dream job to play the organ at the stadium. So just to not have that, it sucks. And then all the other little gigs, because every week I'd play 3 or 4 shows, local restaurants, local bars, playing with bands. And that's basically my whole life was 4 to 5 shows a week. Doing church shows too, and even the churches are not having live services anymore. So basically every single facet of my income was taken away. And I've tried to even apply for unemployment and have got nowhere with that. So I decided to start doing live streaming, just like many other musicians, left with little choices. Got to keep entertaining the fans and try to build new fans and build your brand. And so I've switched to completely doing stuff online now, and it's been quite a good experience. It's been a lot of learning, but it's been really beneficial. And I feel much more confident now and doing video production and doing internet marketing and social media, live streaming. I mean, it all ties together. And I'm kind of excited. It kind of pushed me in the direction I needed to go.
Yeah, and for those who don't know too much about the music industry, it really is about building a following. That's how people get famous. I mean, read the books. I'm a huge Aerosmith fan. I've got their book, Walk This Way, over here. And if you ever read it, the first couple chapters are about how they played these small little places until I think it was Clive Davis walked in somewhere, found them, and said, "Hey, you guys are going to be big." Yeah. He did that with everybody pretty much from the 1960s through the 90s.
Yeah, he had a pretty good track record, that guy.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that it's hurting the local guys right now because, you had these AR people who would go out and they'd find little places and they would pop in. They'd be like, "Wow, that's a good sound," and they'd just say, "Hey, how you doing?" Talk to them a little bit, give them a card. The next thing you know, that person is playing a little bit larger of a venue. It was an independent venue they were playing. Those places are hurting too right now because they can't open.
Absolutely.
So, it's really a difficult thing to see with these local musicians having that. But you've got an amazing setup. You adapted to this. I've seen you playing Friday nights at 6, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Right on Friday Facebook Live. Yeah, 6 o'clock, James Mikey Day on my profile. But I just bought some software where, excuse me, I should be able to restream coming up. I bought some restreaming software. So I'm going to be live on Facebook, Twitch, and what's the other one? Mixer also at the same time as the Facebook. So to expand the audience even more.
There you go.
Pretty cool, yeah.
And I've seen you play. You've got a really cool setup going on. My kids love watching it. We actually have pulled it up on the Apple TV on Facebook Watch.
Yeah,
It's usually right around when we're having dinner, so we got you on the background eating dinner.
perfect.
Um, Songs that most of them are songs that were like always. My wife and I was teaching our kids like, "Hey, these are songs you need to know."
Right.
So tell me a little bit about how you decided to do your setup, some of the things that were involved in it, and then also how you do some of your music choice.
Okay. So first of all, I set up with stuff that I already had because I tried to buy webcams and HD capture cards, HDMI capture cards, and everything is sold out. Everything's sold out because of this crisis. Basically, all the live streaming supplies have been bought. So I've been using old iPads, old iPhones, this old webcam on this old Apple Cinema display, a 10-year-old Mac Pro, old audio interface, older keyboards, but just keeping everything updated, getting the newest drivers, newest software I can. I set up multi cameras. I learned how to use OBS Studio, which is a free broadcasting software. It's very powerful. So I've learned how to create all my own graphics for it. I figured out how to get clean audio into Facebook. And then I do live chat. So when I'm playing, I watch the comments and I see requests come in, and I can play requests right for people instantly. And if people request songs that I don't know, I go back through the feed from the previous week and find all the songs that I didn't know and learn them. So just last week, I played like 10 new songs that I never played before. And it was awesome. People really loved it. And it showed in the virtual tips and everything. Thank you, everybody. But just being engaged and trying to keep learning, keep moving forward, that seems to make people happy, and it makes me feel connected with them and vice versa.
Yeah, and it's really cool because we're seeing the music industry change, right, at every level because of this. I remember, I don't remember if you remember this, about 20 years ago, maybe it was longer than that, because maybe Frank Sinatra's been gone that long, but he did a duets album,
Yeah.
and he did all these duets albums, and they were literally having guys like Bono, who
Yep.
did a song with him, call up from a studio and
Yeah.
sing on the studio, and they clean up the audio and
Yep.
laid the track down, right? But now we're talking like you can literally, as long as you're not getting a lag, you could play a whole band. A whole band could gig together.
That's tough right now because the latency
Yeah,
issues seem to be
yeah.
too bad. And I've been trying this.
Hmm.
I actually just got Skype and some other tools yesterday, and I learned how to bring Skype guests into my broadcast. And I can play with one person. If one person's playing, they can send their feed to me and I can play with it, but they won't be able to hear in real time what I'm playing with them. Only the final audience would be able to hear it. So there's some trust involved there. So, but there's some app called Jam Kazam I'm going to download today that somebody told me about, that where you can live jam with people. I don't know if it's going to work, so I'm not endorsing it yet, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, so I'd like to keep improving the stream, adding live guests, even if I have a little intermission. My other DJ buddy from the Sharks might want to jump on and play a couple tunes. So, I mean, it's just keeping it fresh, keeping it interesting, making new content, new graphics. I'm always trying to do something different every time, at least. Different lighting, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It's all about keeping it real and fresh, right? It's just
Mhm.
like a normal performance that you're trying to do in the semi comforts of your own home, I guess.
The
Uh,
thing is, though, I spend so many hours just on setup where it's like on a gig, I just put my stuff together, 10 minutes in and out. I spent 6 hours just yesterday improving stuff, probably 8 hours on Monday. But the benefit is once I get it all set the way I want, I just hit a button and start streaming. And it's going to be nice and easy once I get it all perfect. And it's close, it's real close.
and by that time, everybody's going to open back up, right?
You know, I'm thinking of keeping doing this because not everybody likes to go out all the time. Maybe I won't do it on Fridays once stuff opens up because that's a premium gig night. But I think I'll at least keep doing at least one weekly show, at least on Facebook or on the different platforms, just because I've got people watching from Canada, Australia. I've got tips from Australia and English people from all over the US, Mexico. I mean, it's pretty incredible just watching the different comments come in saying, hey, it's 11 a.m. in Australia tomorrow and we're watching you. Like, what? Because they're past the date line. So they're watching me Saturday on a Friday. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, like I said, we've watched parts of your show, and definitely for sure, that's one a really cool thing. One of your fans, John, actually said that your weekly show has definitely evolved for sure, week over week. So, I mean, That's really awesome. And like I said, I've watched it. It's great. It's a family friendly show for the most part. My
For the
kids love
most
it.
part, I try to censor the real bad words on some of those songs, but sometimes they slip a little bit.
Well, I mean, because you're in the moment, right? And you know the
Exactly.
song, or you know the live version of the song. And you're like, oh, they say this here instead, and it gets the crowd going, uh,
Right.
right? And that's the whole
Exactly.
thing about it. It's really cool because you're almost doing a worldwide live show that
Totally.
anybody can watch, right?
Mm-hmm. No,
So
it's a scary but powerful feeling. It's scary because you know you're broadcasting to the world. It's scary because once you finish your song, you don't hear any applause. You see some hearts on the screen and some likes go up, but you don't get the auditory feedback you'd get at a live show. So that's kind of missing. But there's other ways where it's cool to see all the comments later, be able to read all the comments and digest them instead of just everybody talking to you. It's kind of cool to actually have it in writing.
yeah, so I mean that's a great thing that I was going to ask is okay. So you see all these people. You mentioned earlier that you're getting you're putting up stuff and you're getting virtual tips, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But
Mhm.
as a musician, right? And just for disclosure, when I was in college, I helped manage bands and book bands in San Jose, for that matter. I went to
Okay.
San Jose State, and one of the things that the bands always said is that when you get up on the stage and you play, it's a whole different feeling than just rehearsing. It's a whole different, it's like sports,
Yep.
right? When you're in front of a crowd, it's completely different. How do you generate that feeling off of likes and little emojis that pop up into your performance where you're used to like the crowd singing along with you? You're used to the crowd like going crazy for a song that you're singing. How are you adapting to that?
I can honestly imagine the audience singing along. Like, say I'm singing "Sweet Caroline," "Sweet Caroline." I'll see the comments go bump bump bump. So I know people are reacting. I know people are watching. Plus, I know the people that requested this song. It means something to them, and the fact that they requested that song and I get to play it for them, it's special, and there's a connection there. And I love to play. So if I'm playing for one person or 20 people or just practicing by myself, I really get into it the same way. I don't have to fake that. I honestly just love it, and that's what I do, and it's my life.
But that's really cool because I mean, a lot of times you're playing for a crowd of 17,000 people, right? They're
Yeah, but
going,
I'm also sometimes playing for a crowd of 10 people on a Thursday night, or if it's a slow night on a Sunday somewhere. Sometimes there'll be 100 people, sometimes there'll be 10, and you can't just shut it down. You have to maybe take those 10 people and make fans out of them, and they bring people back next week, and that's what happens a lot of times. Can't give up.
yeah, and that's a great tip for musicians out there who are just getting started or trying to build that following. Is just, you know, play it like you're playing for Wembley Stadium with 80,000 people going crazy for you.
Yeah,
Uh,
and take chances, try new songs, try requests. That's the scariest thing. At first on Facebook Live, I'd be just nervous to try a song that I haven't done before because I always do that in my live gigs. People always expect me, oh, he'll try anything. I'll do rap songs, new pop songs off the radio, Jonas Brothers, Marshmello, rap songs, anything, country songs. So now I'm getting so comfortable on Facebook that I tried at least 5 or 6 songs last week that I actually didn't even practice that people requested. I'm like, yeah, I could probably do that and just wing it. And it usually ends up pretty good. And people are very appreciative for that because they know it's not rehearsed, it's not fake.
yeah, and I think that's a really awesome thing if you haven't caught the show to do that. So you did mention though virtual tips, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the musicians who play local venues, I mean, they get paid a little bit by the local venue, but really what they're doing is paying for tips.
Right.
The local venues, for those of you who don't know it, just a little inside, the local venues will hire somebody to come in and play, right? They'll pay them a little bit of money. And the whole idea is that the local venue will promote it, the musician will promote it, and that they're cross promoting, and that the musician's going to get a new following from the local venue. The local venue is going to get some new customers from the musician coming over. And instead of getting 5 or 6 people out, they're going to get 15, 20 people out, and it will grow week over week.
Right.
And then the musician will get tips.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that working for you? How are you handling that? And there's always a difficult balance of asking for tips anyways, as a
Right.
musician. How are you coping with that now that it's on the internet, and you kind of have to be a little bit more like, don't forget, if you want to, you can do
Yeah.
this.
Well, it's kind of necessity in a way. I never thought I would do that online and ask for money in any capacity, but hey, I see people's generosity, and I'm in a need right now with no job, and this is my only source of income. So it's either ask for it or don't eat, pretty much. And I have a lot of repeat customers who I try to keep very happy. I'm constantly learning songs for them. A lot of the same people come to my show every week and tip. Some people tip a little bit, some people tip a very generous amount, and it's been quite a blessing. I mean, it doesn't replace my live gig and Sharks income by any means, but it's definitely a blessing, and it's a looking to the future. I can see the growth potential just by increasing the audience, and having a small percentage of those people even tip could be amazing.
Oh, oh, I don't know what happened there. All of a sudden,
There you are.
it happened. It wouldn't go over. Technical difficulties, right? How are you dealing with technical difficulties as you go along? I mean, your audio is very clean, crisp, and clear. But as you said, you're using older equipment.
Yep. Drivers, little tricks, free stuff. I'm using this little program called Soundflower. What it basically does is it splits my audio from my DAW from my recording software. So I'm actually going into recording software, so I can play the piano, I can play any of these instruments. And it all goes through my digital audio workstation, but it also goes to my broadcasting software. So I'm actually using the really clean studio quality audio and nice instruments like pianos and organs and all the really high quality samples, but I'm also broadcasting that same signal that I'm hearing. So it's really cool just to have that little splitter utility.
That is really cool. And so if somebody's a musician out there and they're looking to kind of try to go into the foray of playing online, picking up a little bit of a gig because, well, they're in the same boat, right? They got furloughed or laid off during this time, and they were picking up gigs on the side anyways. What are some of your suggestions to them to be able to start slowly moving into this? I mean, right now, a lot of people are having to, like you are, figure out ways to generate income using things online. So
first of all, you don't need a bunch of equipment, like I said before.
yeah.
I mean, if I just had an acoustic piano and an iPhone, you can go right there and stream from your iPhone with nothing else. The thing that I recommend is to do a private stream just for yourself. Test your lighting, test your audio. Even if you're doing simple setup, you don't want it to be distorted. You don't want your microphone too close to the source because it just sounds like crap. Make sure that your audio is not tilted sideways. I was watching somebody's video yesterday. It was amazing audio, but he had the whole thing sideways. So I'm trying to comment, hey, turn your camera, but he's not watching. But stuff like that, just simple things. Use what you have. Make sure you test it. Test it. That's what I do all day. I test my stream until I'm really comfortable with it. And then you can feel confident in broadcasting it.
Sorry.
Was that me or you?
That was me, but that's okay. I sent them the voicemail.
And then the next step, if you want to improve it, is to get OBS, which is a free computer program where you can set scenes and angles and multiple cameras. And that's what really set my stream to the next level. And I'm still looking for more tools to keep elevating it because I'm having a lot of fun learning this stuff and just getting better at it and engaging with people. And I've helped some other people start streaming too.
That's really good. I think it's one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that, yeah, musicians are vying for fans and people to come in, but it's a very tight knit network, and they all work with each other to help each other out. Right. You hear about all these like big bands that, and when I say big bands, I mean guys that are or women who are touring and playing 20,000 seat stadiums, and they have all these risks between each other. That's not the reality in the actual music industry. I mean, that's the huge,
that's the dream.
Yeah, that's the huge mainstream side of stuff that the media is putting out there. But for the most part, most people are, whether they're regional or even local, they're working together. They're happy to help each other out, lend a hand. Somebody needs somebody to produce a show, and somebody else is available. They'll come out and they'll run the board and do all this stuff for if it's needed. So it's one of those things I think really people really need to see. We actually have a bunch of your fans that are saying hi, hello on
Oh,
here.
is there comments? I haven't even seen the comments.
Yeah. So Anthony says,
Oh, live comments. There it is. Mikey, Finns. I see John. There's John F. What's up, Conan? Hey, Tony.
yeah. I
Cool.
mean, you even got a request for fins. Look at that.
Yeah.
So
No, that's for Friday. Okay.
there you go. Friday night. Yeah. A little Jimmy Buffett never hurt anybody though.
That's right.
In fact, we have a Margaritaville. What are they called? The frozen concoction maker. We used it last night.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it was Cinco de Mayo, so we made virgin margaritas for the kids, and then threw all the other fun stuff in for my wife and I afterwards.
I took a road trip to this really good Mexican restaurant called Taco Bell in Angels Camp, and had Taco Tuesday.
The number one Mexican restaurant in the United States, right? Taco Bell.
Yeah, I guess so. Sorry.
So, as things are progressing with this, and we're starting to see a little bit from some states, and even here in California, they're talking about potentially lifting stuff slowly, right? Mm-hmm. And we're probably still, I personally think we're probably still a while away from actually being able to get back in and people getting back in. What are your thoughts about when this is gonna start being a little bit more normal, and that we can go out to? I'm gonna throw a plug in for one of my clients, Woodbridge.
Yeah, Woodbridge.
And see you playing on Sunday night at Woodbridge Crossing. When do you feel that's going to happen?
I think I have a slight benefit over a lot of the other musical acts because I play solo, so I'm socially distant anyway. So I don't need a band. I mean, I love playing with bands too, but I do a lot of solo gigs, and I've already had a few places ask me, like, as soon as restrictions stop, they want to start having me like on a Wednesday night or just a weeknight to build up business again. So I think stuff's going to come back. I think people want to go out, people want to hear live music, and the venues want to have it too. It's just I know there's a financial burden right now because they haven't been operating at capacity, so it's probably going to be rough. Probably the pay might be less, but I think there'll be some opportunities coming up probably the next, I'd say 2 to 3 months. I'd like to hope. I'd like sooner, and if it goes longer than that, and then who knows? I just need to make other plans, start doing more lessons online, doing more production. But I'm hoping 2 to 3 months. I mean, you see the numbers starting to turn. People's attitudes are starting to turn. And I think eventually stuff's just going to have to reopen, unfortunately. It just has to, for the economy and for people's well-being.
Yeah, I mean, there's a point where you go stir crazy, right?
You're and I've been homeschooling my kid too, so I'm doing that all the time, making playtime. We're going out every day playing for 2-3 hours, riding on the bikes and the scooters, and make sure he's reading his books and keeping up on that, and distance learning, doing the online stuff. So there's just a lot to do, a lot of computer work,
right?
Between my streaming and all the homeschooling and stuff like this, it's just computer, but that's okay. I like it.
And I guess the good thing is for people like for guys like us, right, is that while we may not fall into that full age of being complete digital natives, right? We were young enough when it started coming out that we grasped onto it and we can understand it. But like I see my mother-in-law, my dad, and my sister is kind of the same age. Right? She's only a little over a year older than I am. But I mean, it's hard. I mean, I see friends posting stuff like trying to FaceTime or Zoom with their parents, and like you get a real close up of somebody.
I know. It's like, funny.
Hey, sit back. I can hear you. I can see you. You don't need to talk into the little microphone on the computer. But you bring up a really good point about the social distancing, right? And bands oftentimes in these smaller venues are in a space that's like 7 7. Like the kit takes up 4 feet. How am I supposed to 7? These bands are probably going to really have a really hard time. But a guy like you can go out and do stuff. I mean, you could probably right now go out we'll throw out Woodbridge Crossing again.
Yeah, play the patio when the summer day. Why not?
I mean, I know Steve and and Steven and Maddie and Connor are doing stuff. They're selling stuff on the patio. I mean, you've heard of food trucks before. They've got a food patio, so it's pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
You could provide some entertainment there. I think the problem I see with that, though, is people congregating around, right, listening to the music and that type of stuff.
Right.
But it's still be a really cool concept and idea, because right now it's all about providing people something that they need. And as you mentioned, people got to get out; they got to start doing more.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned you have a kid. How is that going for you right now? I've got three.
Okay.
Three, right? So I've got a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 6-year-old. They're all in school. I'm blessed to send my kids to Catholic school. They didn't miss a beat. Like the education was there. We went home. We heard on March 13th. In fact, the kids heard before we did, because the system was backlogged so badly with everybody trying to send out emails to family that they're not going back to school on Monday. But Monday, actually Sunday night, we got emails from all the teachers like, here's the assignments.
Okay.
3-4 hours worth of work. And they do Zoom classroom meetings, that type of stuff. How's it going for you guys? Are you finding that same thing? Are you kind of happy to create your own stuff?
Kind of both. My son, he's 6 and he's in kindergarten, so I'm definitely not in the same boat as you. And I can definitely handle the type of work he's doing now. Maybe when he gets to 4th grade, it's going to get a little scary, but no, I think it's cool. We've actually started giving him like 2nd and 3rd grade worksheets and reading comprehension and doing fractions and stuff they would have never covered in kindergarten. And his reading levels just skyrocketed. He's really smart. His vocabulary's increased. So I think it's honestly been a good thing for him. Plus, we've been, I don't know, just doing a lot of other stuff at home, like piano lessons and just playing and going around and looking at plants, looking at trees, going for walks. I mean, just a lot of stuff we don't normally do. So it's been okay. It's been really okay.
So what I hear you saying is your son's gonna start gigging with you.
Probably. No, he comes on stream once in a while and sing a song here and there. He likes doing Old Town Road, but he's been not into it lately. He wants to just play his Minecraft for now when he's not doing schoolwork, which is cool. Whatever.
Yeah, Old Town Road. I don't get the whole thing behind that. I don't know why kids like it. I've seen some like 50-year-old women and men like that song too. I'm like, I don't quite get that.
Well, my friends Cheryl and John, who are on the stream, they always request that song. So hey, what's up? I'll play it next time for you.
Maybe they can give us some insight why they like. So I guess it's got a catchy beat to it. I just don't.
It's just popular. Sometimes people just like to throw popular songs at me, even if they don't like them, just to see if I'll do them. Like when Barbie Girl was popular, people, play Barbie Girl. I'm like, really? So I get screwed with sometimes with a request. That's okay. I understand. That's part of the gig.
Do you ever get the smart ass who's out there going, free bird, free bird?
Oh, yeah, that's Bart in Copperopolis. What's up, Bart? No, yeah, he's always the free bird guy. And hey, I do a good free bird, so come on my stream, request free bird. I'll play it for you. I'll do the extended solo version, everything.
Every place has one, right? Every place has one guy who's got to yell free bird out there. So let me ask you this question, because you probably don't get to tell your fans this that much. What is your favorite type of music to play, and what's your favorite song?
Man, okay. I love music from before I was born. I was born in 1980, and my favorite music, I swear, is from the 70s. I love Steve Miller. I love Jim Croce, Glenn Campbell. I mean, the Eagles, Aerosmith, Led Zeppelin. My favorite song, though, everybody knows, is probably from the 80s. I love playing The Way It Is. I've been playing that song since I was a little kid. People always request it at my gigs, and I'm always happy to do it.
Yeah, you mentioned Aerosmith again. I mentioned this book. Well, great. If you've never read it, if you're an Aerosmith fan, it's a must-read. Great book.
Awesome.
But here's the deal. I asked you to come on because I wanted people to kind of see what it's like to be a musician right now, right? Because musicians were everybody was doing really, really well until this whole COVID-19 thing kind of hit us. Musicians were, I have clients who are getting hit up all the time by musicians wanting to play. I have some clients. I have a DJ client. I have another client, musician. They were turning down gigs because people wanted to double book them. And life has slowed down a little bit, but musicians have done a great job, or some of them have done a great job, like you have, of really coming up with different ways and creative ways to really stay in front of people. So let's do this. Let's give people. You've got a website, jamesmichaelday.com, right?
Yep.
People can go there. You can see his list of shows and everything. I was just looking at
I have my last live show is up there. I also embedded the stream in my website.
Okay.
So now whenever it's live on Friday, you can also see it on the jamesmichaelday.com.
So if you don't have Facebook, or you don't want to log into Facebook, you can go to his website and check it there. You're on Facebook. You also mentioned Twitch and
YouTube. YouTube, my name's just James Day. I started early enough on YouTube where I'm just James Day. There's no numbers or any weird stuff, just James Day. Then Twitch at James Mikey Day.
So, and here's the cool thing for those of you watching: if you have a streaming device, and you don't want to log in like an Apple TV, Roku, or something like that. Some of them don't have the Facebook Watch app, but they do have the YouTube app. Go ahead, download that bad boy. Look up James Day, and you'll see when he's coming on live. You can actually put that on your TV, see it live on your TV, put in your surround sound. It's almost like he's there playing in your front room.
I get pictures every week from people who show like their dinners, and then they show me on the screen on their big TV. So I get to see that people are engaged and they're watching, and then I get videos of people dancing with me me playing on a laptop or something. So people share these engagement videos with me, which is really cool. And I should start reposting those. I'm gonna start reposting those as well. Why not? That'd be fun.
Yeah, we in my business, right? We call that UGC, user generated content.
Okay, absolutely.
Right, a little insight into what we do in the public relation industry, and for it with social media and stuff like that, is that somebody takes a picture of their food, right, and they tag the restaurant they're in, or they use the hashtag or whatever. That's kind of like an open license all of a sudden for that place to use it, right?
That's right.
So we actually will take those pictures and use that. So sometimes you'll see it like we'll use Woodbridge Crossing again. I'll give Steve a ton of love today. I've known Steve for a long time.
Yeah,
you'll see pictures of food, right? You'll see somebody's arm in or something like that. It's user generated content, because that's what the food really looks like coming out. It's the same thing you're talking about, is people listening to you from their own home and seeing that, so it's a great thing to really, really use and kind of get going for people and that type of stuff. Now, I just want to touch back on it a little bit again, because I kind of brushed over it real quickly, and I want to be cognizant of your time as well. But you mentioned virtual tipping. And what have you found that's actually worked and is easy for people? There's a lot of different payment options out there, right? There's Zelle, there's Venmo, there's PayPal, which owns Venmo.
Yeah.
Some people have embedded, they use Stripe, and they've embedded Stripe into their website. What are you using? What are you finding is easiest, and what do you find is easiest for people?
It seems like the most used one for people is definitely Venmo. And then second would be PayPal. And then a lot of times people will go on my website, because I have a thing that if you scroll to the bottom, it says donate. And that's actually linked to PayPal as well. And then there's Cash App, but I get like a little, maybe one every couple of weeks on a Cash App. And then there's a Apple Pay. So sometimes people will text me with their phones and text me tips, like Conan here on the stream. He tipped me on Apple Pay last time. It's just with a text message. And then also some people will Zelle, because my email is up there for the PayPal. So sometimes people will just use that as Zelle. So I basically have everyone except for Stripe, which you mentioned. Yeah, but Venmo and PayPal are by far the most used. And I'd say Venmo is a little easier than PayPal, and they don't charge a fee, so I prefer Venmo, definitely.
Yeah, and I personally use Venmo or Zelle. I'm not asking people for tips, but when I do that type of stuff, Venmo, Zelle, they're both really easy, because it's just
it's free.
Either a username or it's an email address. It's free. It's peer-to-peer.
Exactly.
It's ironic to me, though, that people will say how much they hate PayPal, but then they use Venmo and they don't realize that Venmo
is the same company
by PayPal like 10 years ago.
And isn't Cash App owned by one of those two? Isn't Cash App like owned by the people that make the card reader Square?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know. Somebody asked you if you're going to be putting drum tracks on your live stream anytime soon.
I've been working on it. I got a bunch of drum machines and some apps, and I've integrated them all into a iPad like grouping, so I can hit one button and all these drum machines pop up. So I've just chickened out to use it live because I'm still getting occasional glitches with it. So once I get that all set up, I plan on doing that for sure. And that's a drummer. I know that's why he's asking. What's up, Tony? Hey, maybe you can come and play with me sometime when this all ends, because he has electronic drums. That'd be really cool. Could set up the electronic drums, make the sound perfect. You know, that could be a good idea. But just right now, I don't have enough room in my little tiny bedroom.
Right, right. So here's another question that just kind of popped in my mind.
Mhm.
Are you using any type of monitor system to hear, or you just got the playback from your sound?
Yeah, I'm just using my speakers at a nominal level. If I turn it up too high, then there'll be a echo.
Weird echo, yeah.
I know one of my sound engineering friends reached out to me. He's like, you should use in-ear monitors. I tried it for about 5 minutes and I hated it because I'm a live musician. I play live gigs. I need to hear auditory feedback. Even if there's not an audience, I can't feel it in here. I feel it out here. And that's it.
Yeah.
It's just something with me. I'm old school, maybe, but I just can't do it. No in-ears. I'm going to keep using my speakers.
Yeah, which is funny because a lot of the big artists, you'll see them with in ears when they start, and about 2 songs in, they kick them off because they just can't hit it. You can't hear the crowd. People don't realize that you cannot hear the crowd. All you're hearing is what's going into a monitor on a stage. The music's being played into your ears, and every once in a while, somebody who's going to pop in and say something to you over those monitors. We should talk some other time about the music industry and what people don't know, like the back ends and how big of a production even a small live show is at a place like Bridge Crossing. There's so much that goes into it and making the sound right and setting everything up. And each place has its own nooks and crannies, so you got to worry about echo coming from one other place. And I mean,
Woodbridge is all brick and it's long. So if I don't tilt my speaker, it just echoes right off the back brick and comes right back, and it sounds terrible. So you have to angle it a certain way where it kind of hits the corner of the room and kind of comes around. Yeah, because sometimes Steve will be like, dude, you're so loud. And I'm like, I'm not loud. It's because my speaker's bouncing off the back and coming hitting twice. So it just doesn't sound good. It's not loud. It doesn't sound good. So yeah, definitely acoustics are important everywhere, having the right equipment. But yeah, that's for another show for sure.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I really want to, I really appreciate you taking the time out this morning, kind of talking about the struggles that you've gone through. And I'm sure there's so many other musicians that are going through the same struggles right now.
Yeah.
And you know, there are a lot of people who make their living every day by playing music, by playing gigs. They play gigs 5, 6, 7 nights a week.
That's right.
I mean, a couple weeks ago, I had a buddy of mine on, Anthony Paganelli. He is a co-owner of Holy Diver here in Sacramento.
Okay.
And he's a hairdresser and he's a musician. And I mean, that's his livelihood right there.
Gone. Yeah,
Everything is gone. And you know, these small venues that people are like, oh, it's just a restaurant, and yeah, they can do takeout, this, that, and the other, and you know, don't do delivery services. They're getting ripped off. But you got to think about the trickle down that comes down, right? And the trickle down, in a lot of these places, they make their money by selling food, but people buy alcohol to go with the food, so they're losing profit on that because you can go to the store and buy it less expensive. Now, some things you can buy because they're specialty drinks, right? But I mean, my point is, think about that when you're ordering that. That as when you're ordering food from them, maybe you should get that cocktail from them because it's going to help them out a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. They make some money on the liquor for sure, and everybody could use a little extra right now.
Right.
And the thing is, if you're ordering from a restaurant, you're only going to have one drink. But if you ate there, you might have 3 or 4, depending on the music.
Well, and that's my next point is that you get a lot of these places get music that come in, especially Friday, Saturday nights, you know, and the musicians are going out, and for some of them it's supplemental income, but for a lot of them it is their full-time job and gig, you know, and they're coming online and they're doing these things. And really, I mean, we got to support local, and it starts with local businesses, but don't forget that local musicians are local businesses too.
That's right.
That's how they're making their money. That's how they're doing stuff. You know, they're making all these things. You heard it takes, you said what, like 6 hours to together one of your shows?
No, no. Well, I'm saying I've just been obsessing over it and doing small changes and string lighting and camera angles and everything. But I'm saying once I get it set up how I like, I won't have to spend 6 hours every day. It'll just be hit a button and it'll go. It'll be nice. I'm almost there.
Almost there, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but it's taking you so many hours to get kind of going and everything like that. And honestly, it's like people. I hope that people realize that when a musician goes on and does this they're doing it not just for themselves because they want to play. That's
Yeah.
part of it, right? Because you love to play and that's why you do it. But they're doing it for you as well. And make sure that you show the gratitude of that. I mean, I know we're all struggling and not everybody's making as much money as they used to, but you know what? If you've got $10 that you were going to spend on a drink somewhere, give it to a musician, even if you're not asking for a song. Like they're spending their time playing. $10, is not a lot of money, and it's something that's easy to do. And it's paying it forward. It'll come back to you. I guarantee you, it'll come back to you in the end.
Oh, and I've tipped other musicians online. I just bought an autographed CD from my buddy who was live streaming in Mississippi. So I've been paying it forward to supporting other people's streams, absolutely, and trying to get the word out. Oh, there's a nice comment that just came in there. If you see that one,
yeah, from Christy.
Yeah, so appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to echo that too. Like I've tuned in on Friday nights, and I can say, James Michael Day is a very talented musician, piano player. My kids love him. They think he's great. They were super excited today when I said that I was talking to them online.
Yeah.
I told them
to do some lessons soon.
Yeah. I told you the other day when we were chatting. My youngest is we have a piano in their bedroom, and he goes in there every day, and he's taught himself how to play Baby Shark.
Oh yeah, nice. My son's a little old for that now, but yeah, 2 years ago, that's all I would hear.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
all the time, I'm like, oh, that and chopsticks.
Oh God, no.
Right.
Next is Heart and Soul. Then, of course, that's the third song you gotta learn.
Well, I mean, at least that's a little Huey Lewis in the News, right?
No, not that one.
Oh.
The piano song everybody plays.
Yeah.
Dave Coldren says definitely give $10 to a musician. He's also a piano player who streams. I think he's probably streaming tonight, actually, Dave Coldren on Facebook. He does Wednesday nights and Sunday afternoon, I believe.
All right. Hey, yeah, Dave, if you're going to be playing tonight, maybe put a link in here so people can jump on. And we'll get a link up here to your website and to your Facebook. Now, you're streaming on your personal profile, right?
I am. I'm trying to add my page as well. So that's part of the restreaming software I'm getting. I'm going to be able to go to 2 profiles at once. Oh, he's doing all original stuff tonight. So Dave is. That's cool. What time is that at? No, I lost my train of thought of what I was saying before. That happened.
You're working on getting some software so you can restream to both.
Oh, yes. Because I have a page and I have a profile, but my profile has like about 2,000 friends in my page. I started way later, so it doesn't have that many on it. So I'm figuring I need to do the page thing so I can promote the page, but also link it to my profile. So I'll probably stream to my page this week and start a watch party on my profile because somebody told me I can do that, and that would kind of take care of both. Yeah,
that is definitely a way to get it done. It takes a little more. 6 p.m. tonight, Dave's playing.
Okay.
And he says he just does it on Facebook, that you're way more technical than he is.
See, he does the setup like I was talking about, where he just has the acoustic piano and he has just the phone. But he asked for my feedback on his first couple of shows. I said the piano is too loud for your vocals. So he set up a little PA system so he can amplify his vocals. And now his vocals are on par with the piano, so the sound is good, even though he doesn't have a bunch of equipment. He's just using a phone. But he gets a lot of viewers on there. He's doing pretty good too.
Yeah, and it's something that people should definitely have heard throughout this whole conversation that we've had, is that you don't need to go out and spend a ton of money. You probably have, if you're a musician, you're doing gigs, you probably have what you need.
Yeah. And I've tried to spend money. I've tried to order stuff and it's just not available. So finally I'm like, okay, I'm not even going to try anymore. I'm just use what I have. I had to buy like a $15 app that turns your iPhone into a webcam, because one of the best cameras you have is on your phone. So if
Yeah.
you can get a low latency feed via USB to a computer, that's a killer webcam. Way better than this one I'm using now. So I wish I could have set that up today, but I just bought the software last night. So I'm going to do a bunch more work today and get the stream ready for Friday, you know.
Nice. So your Facebook profile is James Mikey Day, correct?
Yep.
And we're going to put that in the comments here. And the website is jamesmichaelday.com.
Yep.
And you heard he's actually embedded the feed into his website as well, so you can watch it there.
Yeah, my traffic went up like 400% last Friday because it was the first day I had it on Facebook or on my website.
Yeah.
So the traffic was like the highest I've ever had in one day on that one. So that was kind of cool. So I know people are watching.
That's awesome. And that's another thing for musicians out there watching. You want to see what your traffic is.
Mm-hmm.
You should be embedded into your website. Most people are probably using something like WordPress or Drupal or Joomla. They all have really easy and inexpensive or free plugins, extensions, whatever you want to call them, that will track your traffic. Just set up a Google Analytics account. Yeah, that's free as well. You can see where the people are watching from. You can see how long they're watching, the average watch time, that type of stuff. And you can see where there were dips, and if you need, that's how you can adjust your show while you're going along, while you're not getting that auditory feedback we were talking about earlier.
Right.
You can see what peaked well and maybe what dropped off a little bit, or you can see if you're seeing a drop off after you've been playing for 2 hours. Well, maybe you need to stop at.
Yeah, that's right. No, Facebook gives you the analytics too. You can totally see how long people are watching and who's watching from where, the demographics and stuff. So it's really cool to have the data like that. And I need to get better at that too. I'm just starting on that and learning so much. That's part of what's coming though.
Yeah, we live in a very data-driven world, and it's funny because music is data-driven on sales, right? It's not data-driven on anything else. They're data-driven on just on sales, and it's interesting to see how the music industry will pick up with that. So, I mean, even at the local level, it's based upon sales. If you're playing at a venue and the venue's covering it, doing a cover charge, how many people walk through the door, that type of stuff.
Right.
Some places I don't agree with this. Some places like to look at actual sales while somebody's playing. I don't think that's necessarily fair based upon the musician, because staff should be doing the job of selling drinks and food during that time. It's not incumbent upon the musician, although the musician does promote it.
Yeah. That happens less and less now, I'd say. More of it straight up now. I used to do that where it's like, oh, you're going to play for 30% of the bar or play for 10% of sales. Or that doesn't really happen anymore as far as I'm concerned. When
I was in college doing the stuff, it was always like, hey, we'll give you 50% of the door. And it's like 50% of the door.
Right.
They wanted to pay was 50% of the door. And then they have their door guy sitting there counting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
that walks through. They don't count every person that walks through.
No, we've had many gigs like that when I play with bands and like places in San Jose a long time ago where we know that we got shafted and the guitar player has to go to the back room with the owner and comes out with more money later. We're like, well, okay, what just happened? But hey, we got paid.
Yeah, there was I'm not going to mention any names. It's not there anymore. But there was a venue where I believe Smash Mouth got their start in San Jose.
Right.
That I had booked several bands at, and the first time I booked a band there was probably a 700-person venue, 800-person venue, and it was packed. And they said that only 200 people walked through the door.
Oh my god! Yeah,
and I'm like, what? 200 people?
I know what place you're talking about too. I won't say the name.
They don't exist anymore.
Nope.
But I'm sure you know the place I'm talking about, and they were notorious for doing that. When after that one, I learned my lesson that one time. After that, I always had somebody else come with me, and they would sit at the door and count. They'd have their own little clicker, and they count with them, so we could say, "Hey, this is what we had," and we'd have them check every like 30 minutes. Hey, this is what we have. Is what you have, to make sure we do it. Otherwise, those places would screw you over.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you got to watch out for that. So I'm more straight up now. I just deal with the club owners and straight up and make tips on top of whatever they're going to pay me, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Don't need to make it complicated.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you coming out.
Hey, no problem. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
And just again, huge shout out for Friday nights, 6 p.m.
Hope to see you there. This way. There we go.
Pretty much on any streaming channel you can think of.
We're gonna say Facebook at least, and my website for this week. If I can get more going this week, I will. No guarantees on that, but for now, at least my website and Facebook.
And just anybody watching and thinking, hey, you know what? I want to help a local musician out. What's your Venmo if somebody wanted to drop you a dime right now?
Venmo's at James Michael Day.
All right. So there you go. If you guys want to help James Michael Day out with some tips and that type of stuff, watch on Friday night. He does take requests. Absolutely. Just like if you were to see him live, if you do request a song, it's kosher and cool to make sure that you send a little money his way. Musicians are struggling hard right now, just like everybody else. We don't hear it as much, but they're struggling hard right now, especially guys who are out there, and that's how they're making their living. These venues that they play at are their livelihood in a lot of cases, right? Mm-hmm. And those places are struggling. It trickles down to everybody else is struggling too. I mean, we hear all this stuff about food supply chains going down, but there are so many things locally that are affected by these restaurants getting cut back in what they can do. So definitely support your local musicians, support your local restaurants, and hopefully we can figure out ways to get musicians back, even if it is sitting out on the patio.
That's what I'm talking about. We'll do it. Come on, Steve, let's experiment.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to send Steve a text right now and say, hey, you should figure this out. But tune in Friday night, 6:00. I'm looking forward to when it's on YouTube, so I can just bring it up on the Apple TV.
Yeah, I'm gonna try for this week, but I'll let you know if I get it rolling.
Yeah, that'd be cool because that Facebook Watch app, I don't know if you ever try to use it. It's a pain.
It is. I know.
Facebook. I mean, everybody uses Facebook. Even the people who say they don't, they do. They do. They're using Facebook. I still hear it all the time. Kids are dying to get a Facebook account.
Yep.
So it's the beast out there. I wish Facebook was a little more friendly at the way they did things. I guess I do. I have one more question for you because I saw this a few weeks ago, and this popped in my mind is that you had said that you were willing to do some private gigs for people too.
Yeah, I've done a couple just private streams, so it's easy on Facebook. I can just broadcast to one person or two people or whoever I want. So it's very easy. All it is changes the stream key a little bit. You change your privacy settings and say somebody's having a dinner party and they want to just have me play their requests for an hour. So I can do that. So I've done a couple shows like that already.
That's very cool. And people can just, if they're interested, they can hit you up on Facebook or on your website and talk to you about that and all that type of stuff.
For sure.
Awesome. So, well, very cool, man. I really appreciate it. I know the weather here in Sacramento is beautiful. I got to think out there in the mother lode that it's probably a beautiful day outside there too. It's probably a little hotter there than it. Well, actually, probably be a little cooler.
Not the same. It's comparable.
Yeah, I know. We try to get up there in that area like once a year. It's beautiful up there. Hit up Sonora, and then you get the the rail town.
Yeah,
there.
Jamestown.
Yeah,
Railtown, USA over there. Yeah, the museum. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff up here. It's just slower pace of life.
Not too far from Big Trees.
Yeah, right up the 4.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful area out there. If you guys have never been, hit up Copperopolis. Beautiful Bay Area people. It's not that bad of a drive. It's a couple hours to get out there, and the hustle and bustle and the horrible driving is nowhere near the same. Check it out. It's a nice day out in the country. There's plenty of little places you can stay out there too if you want to make a weekend out of it.
Little restaurants too, and
there's great local restaurants and great local music that's going on. So yeah, man. What's that?
We'll hope to see you soon up here in Copperopolis.
Yeah, man. Everybody should head out to the Valley's got a lot of great. The Valley and the Motherlode have got a lot of great things going on. It does get a little warmer for those of you who live on the coast. So be prepared, but it's beautiful. You'll enjoy it. Most of the wine that you like to drink that you think is from the coast, it's all grown out there anyways.
That's right.
So go out and actually see where the source is from. But
Mhm.
it's beautiful. It's a great place. A lot of great talent out of that area too. And man, I really appreciate you taking the time this morning. Your moment. Anything else you want to say to people? The
No, I
people.
just want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for having me, and I hope to see you on Friday night. I got to actually go and do some homeschooling with my kids. So I guess I got to say goodbye, and we'll do it again sometime. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. I got to pop up to help my kids too. We'll be watching on Friday night.
All right. You guys have a great day. Stay safe.
All right. Thanks, man.